Hey everyone, welcome back to our exciting episode of Attack Productions Tide. Bankrupt joins game by Jake. As today we are doing what I had mentioned prior, our Fusion World matchup. I am playing Vegeta and Jake is playing Gohan. Now I will say two things about this matchup, actually three things. I didn't feel like bringing my soft lights down, so the colorings be a little bit off. Hope that's not too much of an issue. Thing two, these were printed prior, this match would happen prior to the super rares being revealed, so there's no super rares in any of these decks. And the last thing is that this also happened before they dropped the rules. So a little bit things different. We did high roll, went first. The way it actually works in the rules is that you roll and then whoever hits the highest roll gets to choose who goes first. Also, I don't know if it comes in this match, I want to point out, it's also stated that the energy marker isn't actually considered to be an energy. Like it is an energy, but it's not considered to be, like if you have 3 energy and an energy marker, you technically for card tax purposes, you only have 3 energy. It's not 4 energy because it doesn't technically count as energy, even though it is an energy. But yeah, I got Jake here. What's going on, Jake?
What's going on, man? I think that makes a lot of sense as far as like ruling the energy that way, as far as the coin or the energy token or whatever it's called in this game.
There's a few more things I don't think comes in this matchup, and I will move my card over to the side in a second because we didn't figure out a glare spot because, like I said, I didn't want to bring the soft lights down. And thinking back on it, probably should have. I don't think it comes in at all in this matchup. But when a card is negged in this game, it's treated the same way. It's not considered KOing.
It's just removed from the battle area.
Yeah. So like anything that has like when this card is KO'd, it's not KO'd when it's negged. Like,
okay,
that's game mechanic. Just I haven't had a chance to go through all the rules yet. Just some of the rules I've picked up just from the Facebook group. So
yeah, and then we played at the preview event at Gen Con as well.
We did, yes. Which at the preview event, if you didn't get a chance to go to Gen Con, they kind of instructed you. There was no high roll. It was just kind of like, all right, Vegeta players will go second, Goku players will go first. And I remember when me and Jimmy did it, me and Jimmy was like, we're just going to roll off and just play ourselves. Because like Jimmy knew the judge who was doing the event. He was cool with us doing it. But let's talk about these decks real quick. Besides that, green does what green does in the new game, which is ramping. Green is the ramp color. But a lot of the effects also will cause you to destroy your own energy. But then cards allow you to bring that energy back or to ramp it just for an extra card effect, which is pretty cool. And Vegeta, once you have less than 7 cards in your hand, to get a lot of stronger effects off.
Yeah, I really like the design space for green so far in this game, where you are giving something up in order to get something, and then like we were talking about, like in the case of that 5-drop Goku that's about to like instant transmit Cell, you get to like charge the top card of your deck whenever you do that. So there's a lot of potential to create like cool synergistic loops in green right now. And I haven't really seen too much of the other colors outside of like green and blue, but Vegeta encouraging you to put things on the board and get cards out of your hand and play a more aggressive game style by having that 7 card in hand limitation, I think will help a lot of like newer players navigate the game when they first join.
And I will say for future reference, if you all want to see more Future Worlds matchups, we're planning on doing one at least once a week or once every other week, as we're also adding Digimon back to the channel. I do have all the cards now printed, so until they actually get released, we can do any matchups we want to. So yeah, this is fun. So one of the things I think we've learned in Fusion World, which I feel like it's because there's no negates, there's no counters. And I think to best explain this, I think Fluff's the one who kind of said this out loud the other day at the shop. Whether Masters dies or not, Fusion World will be the successor. And by saying that, Bandai knows what went wrong with each set leading up to a certain point in Masters. Like, we're not going to get a Senzu Bean. That will not happen, most likely. We will not get certain cards that were game-breaking. So as these sets come out, those things that I think were really like, yo, that was broken as hell, we won't see those interactions at all happen in Fusion World. Fusion World will be probably a cleaner version of Masters. And if they ever want to bring counters in, which I don't know if they will or won't, but we do know in set 3 we're getting black cards, and they didn't. The paperwork I saw or that was posted on Facebook, whatever, didn't specify. Just said a new mechanic. We all know what black does in Masters. It's overrealm, so or most likely might get over. Maybe it'll be something new. I don't know, because as of right now, the decks are also color lock for those who aren't aware. So the cards you play in your deck have to be the same color as your leader. Now down the road they may add a mechanic where you could do more than one color, or we'll get actually more variety of dual color leaders in the future, so that way you can tag 2 different colors together, because there are specific costs to this game, which means we will get multicolored decks at some point.
Yeah, I think they are starting the game at like a much lower level of interaction than Masters started at. Like just by removing a whole card class altogether, being negates, and then that really cleans up the combat step from just a rules processing standpoint. But I do. Part of me worries that they went a little bit too far. Like, I would love to be able to play multicolor decks with just a monocolor leader. And because I come from Magic, and that's one of my favorite things to do in deck building in that game is like working out a land base. Like, how many dual color sources do I need? And can I splash this color for like these like 5 or 6 cards or whatever? Like, I really enjoy that aspect, and as of right now, Fusion World doesn't really have that at all. But I will say that the interaction of the negates has just kind of like moved to the activate battle step, and there's a lot of extra cards that are like plus 20,000 power, and then if you fulfill a requirement, like get an additional 5, or there's a lot of ways to create big power swings with extra cards that pretty much end up working like negates.
Yeah. I realized I didn't say what I was going to fully say. One thing I think I've learned about testing with Fusion Worlds is that battle cards tend to be the target a lot of times, because you can't really stop attacks anymore. You can't floodgate your opponent. So it's like you don't want your opponent to get a bigger board than you. So right now, I have the advantage over Jake because I have more power on the board. This Vegeta, if I recall correctly, on swing pops a card. I think it's a set cost to it, but then it gets to restand itself afterwards. So it's initially a dual attack card without the keyword skill dual attack. And here I'm just trying to protect with my blockers. I think Goku's also a blocker as well. Can't remember or not. No, okay, he's
no.
Yeah, he is. Okay, there he is. Yeah.
Okay.
Thought he was. So like I'm trying to keep.
I thought you meant the one I played earlier, but
no. So I'm just trying to make sure that the card I want to keep on the board stays alive, because you're not going to go after my leader. Why would you put me into an advantage over you now?
Yeah. A lot of the games of Fusion World that I have played have turned into kind of like battle card slugfests, and then whoever comes out on top of that initial exchange kind of gets to snowball and take over the game. Like, we played this matchup a couple weeks ago, I guess, at this point. And in that matchup, I had a lot of strong, like, early game battle cards, and your hand was a little bit slower. And I was just able to, like, really snowball and put myself in a really good position for the late game, where here you kind of have me in a funnel where as soon as I spend energy on something, it gets removed. And then you just kind of get to extend your board with whatever energy you have up.
Yep. And I know, like I said earlier, there's no super rares in this deck, but obviously with any blue deck, and because of this whole situation where it's like we're trying not to awaken the other person, we want to control the board first and then go towards the leader. The new Mind that's coming out is great for blue decks, which I'm not sure, Drake, if you saw it or not, but on play, you add up to 2 cards from your life to your hand. So like,
oh wow!
And it's 1 energy to play this Mai. So it's 1 energy you play this, but then Mai also has auto once per turn. If you have 7 or fewer cards in your hand, when an opponent's battle card is returned to their hand by one of your skills, you get to draw 1 card. Because the Trunks deck, I think it's the Trunks deck, likes the bounce cards a lot. So like so much resource gain just from that. Like,
oh yeah, that Mai is going to be really, really strong.
And for a game that to some people feels very, and I will agree, I've said this, it feels, it's a more simplified version of Masters. Yes, it is. But I think what they've done for the super rares are great. I think those are fantastic super rares for this game and the way this game will be played. See right here, because you did crit me, and I was able to go into Awaken, and now I've kind of cleared your board, and now I put you at 3 life. I still have a blocker on board, I have a double strike on board, and I have the dual attack Vegeta on board as well. And also, we really talked too much about that. I just said that's its auto. It's once per turn when it attacks. So with Fusion World, I think they're trying to get away from having so many keywords as well, because that can also bog down like how people play or try to remember every single thing. Like, how long did it take me to remember Aegis? You know, it's like, oh, that's right, it does this. But some cards have effects when you proc Aegis. And then we didn't see Aegis for like 2 years. and then it came back. I'm like, what is this again?
Yeah.
So they got rid of the keyword skill dual attack and just replaced it with an auto. I think there's another card also in the game that has something very similar. It's like, oh, this is just this keyword skill as an auto.
Yeah, it definitely seems like they're trying to get away from the keyword skill bloat, but like you said, they're finding new ways of like wording the same thing. I wonder if eventually dual attack will be a keyword skill. I think it makes sense to roll them out slowly over the first few sets.
I don't know if it was a keyword
here's
skill.
That Cell.
Yeah.
Or here's that Goku.
I don't know if it was a keyword skill in the first set. I can't remember. And
so
this Cell. Talk about the Cell for a second.
Yeah, so my leader has an ability where I can destroy an energy to get, I think it's like 10k battle power, and I can do that once per turn on either turn. And then this Goku, he's like about to instant transmit Cell. When you play him, and then whenever one of your energy is destroyed, you get to charge the top card of your deck in rest mode. And there are other cards in the deck like this Turles, where whenever you play it, you get to pick a card from your drop area that costs 3 or more, and then play it in your energy and active mode. So basically the idea of this deck is to like charge high cost stuff early in the game, and then after you play your Cell, blow it up with your leader, and then put it back in your energy with Turles. And then Turles is a 30k crit on his own, so he's nothing to sneeze at. And then once you kind of have this energy loop going, there's like, you can see that big 6-drop Gohan in my energy right now. You can play cards like that and gain life off the top of your deck and do all kinds of stuff once you have a bunch of energy.
And since I don't have this, I didn't have the super, but this is before the super rares were revealed. This is also before the secret rare was revealed. And one of the secret rares was pretty much the father-son Kamehameha, Goku and Gohan. It is 7 energy to play. So yeah, turn 5, if you were at a good enough life or had a good enough hand, and your opponent didn't have a strong board, you could pay 5 energy for the Cell. Boom, ramps you to 6. You pass, you protect yourself. Then on turn 6, you charge to 7. Then boom, you could play the secret rare, which will pretty much anything your opponent's board, 5 and under, is gone.
If you have the marker, you can play it 2 turns early.
Yeah, and that's one of the things where I don't think there's much cards that are over the cost of 5 outside of green. So, like, in most matchups, like, that's blowing your opponent's entire field up. And granted, that secret cannot attack after it's been played. But the fact that it is 7 energy for a full board wipe, but it's a 50k. I can't remember if it's double strike or not, though.
I mean, either way, like we were talking earlier about how important board control seems to be in this game, like a full board wipe on a stick is probably something that's going to be pretty good in this game.
Yeah. And here, I did get the final strike with double strike. You did not have enough combo power because I got you to activate your leader's effect prior. But yeah, that was Fusion World. If you guys want to see more of this, let us know in the comments down below. And with that being said, thank you all for tuning in, and bye.